Hello, and welcome to my meander for this week. I think I've meandered before about how apparently small random events can shape a person or a situation. I was led in that direction this week, having had several conversations with Father Chris van Buskirk about the homelessness situation in Moncton. Things have reached a crisis point in that city and, to a certain extent, across our province. In 1974, the singer-songwriter Ralph McTell had a hit with the song Streets of London. He wrote it in 1969, but as the optimism of the 1960s faded, it became more pertinent by the mid-1970s. The whole song struck a nerve with me, but the following lines have remained with me for nearly 50 years. Have you seen the old man outside the Seaman's Mission, memory fading with the medal ribbons that he wears? In our winter city, the rain cries a little pity for one more forgotten hero and a world that doesn't care. A couple of years after that, I made my first trip to London as part of a church army weekend about discovering the other London, the city away from the glitz of the West End and the well-known tourist spots. As part of this, we visited an old-style Salvation Army men's hostel. The sleeping area was a massive room with many rows of old iron bedsteads, thin mattresses, and blankets emblazoned with the Salvation Army crests. It was just after Christmas, so as part of the evening we went into a large room where we sang carols with the residents. I noticed the pianist, a man in his 50s with long hair, glasses, and a well-worn but obviously expensive overcoat. He played brilliantly, and afterwards I went up to talk to him. He had what in England we would say was an upper-class accent, and as we chatted I got to know a little bit about him. He came from a wealthy family and had attended one of England's most prestigious private schools. After that he went to one of Oxford's best-known colleges, and following graduation began a career as a professional musician. He didn't tell me how he went from there to being a resident in the Salvation Army hostel, but clearly something significant had happened in his life. My meeting with this man in London lasted no more than a few minutes. I never returned to the hostel again, but it was an encounter along with McTell's song which has shaped my views, particularly around the need to care for the homeless. It was a God-led encounter, though I didn't know it at the time. This year, winter has bitten early in New Brunswick, and people are in need of shelter. It seems that there are more homeless people on our streets than we have seen in the past. Out of the cold shelters often kick in after Christmas, but seem to be needed now. Father Chris and his volunteers are deciding on a night-by-night basis whether to open the basement of St. George's Moncton to shelter people from the cold weather. Another issue which seems to have grown amongst the homeless population this year is addiction. It seems that the use of drugs such as crystal meth and fentanyl has grown and is causing overdoses and deaths. I know that the cause of the homeless can elicit mixed feelings among us. All I ask is that we are aware of it and try to look beyond what we see to the precious humans created and loved by God, who for many complex reasons live on our streets. Once again, thank you for being here. God bless, and see you next time.